All right, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from Põhjala, and they are out of Tallinn, Estonia, and this is their, wait for it, let me apologize in advance for how I'm going to butcher the pronunciation of this beer, but we are going to give it a go. I believe this is their XO, and this is a part of their Cellar Series. So they're calling this one a Cognac barrel-aged Imperial Baltic Porter that comes in 11.5% alcohol by volume, 60 IBUs, and at the time of review, I have no idea how old this bottle is because it does not have a bottled on date of any kind that I can find. Maybe when I pour the beer into the glass, maybe something will show up, but this is like the 4th or 5th most checked in beer on Untappd from Põhjala. So I'd imagine this is something that they release at least, I would say at least once a year, maybe more often. But yeah, anyway, I picked this one up because it sounded delicious. Also, the price point was right in my wheelhouse. So anyway, they just say this is a special version of, again, I'm probably butchering that, aged in cognac barrels. So it says serve 54 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit. This is right around about 55. So perfect. So anyway, I pre-cut the wax because I don't want to fight with wax on camera. And I don't want to be cutting stuff on camera because if you follow the channel, you know, I'm on blood thinners, so that wouldn't be good. Anyway, let's give this a pour into the glass here. And we're going to pour the entire thing in. This is a huge, like, barrel-aged glass, whatever you want to call it, so it should be able to handle the most and still be able to get my schnoz in there to kind of see how this is in terms of the aroma. We are going to cheat, though, as you know. And I got nothing from that, so really didn't cheat, but I kind of did. Anyway, beautiful. When it was pouring out, it was more like a deep dark brown in the glass, pitch black, has about a finger and a half of this dark brown, creamy looking head. Beautiful looking barrel-aged beer. Yeah, so it was about just under 2 months ago, I reviewed their Chateau Noir, which was like a red wine barrel-aged beer with also sherry. There's a red wine and sherry barrel-aged Imperial Baltic Porter. I gave it a 5 out of 5. First 5 out of 5 this year. Absolutely just delicious beer, which made me pick up this one. I'll probably pick up some more this year. So I'm hoping that this one's just as good as that. Probably won't be just based on, you know, averages and whatnot, but yeah. Anyway, so it also has crazy alcohol sheets, I would say. Yeah. Drapes. Anyway, let's get a nose. It smells awesome. So you definitely get the cognac, but this has, holy shit, a complexity that is just insane. Like that first aroma, I was like, oh yeah, there's cognac, it's barrel aged, and then I go back and I'm like, the frig is happening. This has big charry roasted kind of notes, but I'm also getting like leather and tobacco, and I don't remember if I said that in the red wine barrel aged review, but those are two notes that I know a lot of folks will get with like big, crazy, like imperial stouts. I typically don't, especially the leather. I could see the tobacco and whatnot, but like the leather, I don't. That's what I'm getting here, though. It's charred, it's tobacco-esque. It has a leathery kind of nose, but it's also dark fruit heavy, like plums and raisins and figs and dates and almost like Belgian quad-esque in terms of there's just like a nice, like almost tart cherry kind of thing going on as well. Dark grapes is something else. But then there's an underlying, again, this is super complex. This is what my nose is picking up after like 6 sniffs of this. There's a huge like burnt sugar, caramelized sugar. So there's toffee, there's molasses. There's almost like a butterscotch type of thing going on. Yeah, caramel, toffee, butterscotch. I would have thought that this would have like a little bit more like chocolate and like a real rich dark chocolate. It's there, but it's not overly blown. Same thing with the overblown, not overly blown, overblown. There's also a little bit of like a coffee roast. That cognac has a nice sweet, kind of almost spicy kind of presence to the aroma. This smells like an adult dessert. It smells like one of those rich desserts you get that, like tiramisu to me is like not like a super sugary over the top dessert. You eat it, you're like, that's sophisticated, right? That's a sophisticated dessert. Creme brulee, yeah, is it sweet? A well-made one, sure. I mean, they're all going to be sweet. It's dessert, but it's sophisticated. It's not like eating a Butterfinger or something, right? Same thing with tiramisu. It's not like, you know, having a crazy sweet coffee dessert. But I don't know. To me, this smells just incredibly complex, but more importantly, it smells amazing and like it's going to be delicious. So my mouth is watering and I just kind of want to drink this. So cheers, everybody. Okay, first things first, this is not going to get a 5 out of 5. This is not going to be as good as that Chateau Noir, but it's fucking delicious. The one thing I needed to keep in mind, and I think I maybe referenced it once in the review of that Chateau Noir, is I have to remind myself I'm drinking Imperial Baltic Porter, which is typically lagered, right? So a lot of times the body isn't going to be, for me at least, as like thick and robust. It's going to have a little bit of like a thinness to it, but also it's going to be like more crisp on the palate. And that's the first thing I can notice with the body mouthfeels. This one it has a more like lager-esque kind of feel to it. 11.5%. This is like higher side of medium, lower side of full, which is definitely good. But I think some folks might pick this up and think it's 12%. It should be just like you're chewing it. Again, you have to take into consideration as a Baltic Porter. Not that Baltic Porters can't be like that. I give it a little bit of a leeway because of that. And then the mouthfeel, it has a big smoothness to it, but it has more of a crisp kind of feeling to it. These flavors are almost like, it's almost clean too on the palate, like incredibly clean. Yeah, I mean, body mouthfeel are really nice. The taste. Tip of the tongue, I get a real nice sweetness, like a malt sweetness. Then it starts to turn into this, again, charred malt, something in that realm. Then the dark fruits start to hit me. Again, it's more of like a sweeter, like candy-coated, like raisin, like raisinets. Maybe even just if you've ever had just like sugary raisins, just like sugar-covered. There's a little bit of like a sugar plum. Yeah, I'd say sugar plum. I would say more raisin sugar plum with like a tart cherry all mixing in. Passes through. Right underneath that though, it's, for me, caramel and toffee leading the way. Maybe like a brown sugar, like a burnt brown sugar. If you've ever had like, you know, in my family, we typically take sweet potatoes and fry them up in butter and brown sugar. And when that brown sugar kind of caramelizes in the pan and covers the sweet potatoes, that's kind of what I'm left with in terms of the taste. And you know, sometimes I'll steal like a little bit of that burnt brown sugar and it's delicious. That's what I'm kind of getting this beer. Halfway through the palate, the barrel hits the cognac and it has like this spicy, kind of sweeter, just barrel feel to it. There's a very light tannin presence, which I think works well with the dryness. This is like semi to full on dry, but it doesn't have a huge, this is not a big bitter beer. This is very mildly bitter. Also mixing in on the finish is that tobacco leathery kind of just different character. Again, I don't get a lot. There's slight umami hints throughout the palate, but it's never like too big. It never quite reaches like that soy sauce level. You just know this is kind of has an umami kick to it. 11.5%. I can tell in the palate because of the cognac barrels. There's a slight like astringency sharpness on the finish. But I'll tell you what, I'm not really getting a huge warming in the chest. A very slight warming in the chest. So 11.5% hides it well as far as like how you feel it going down. But like on the palate, I can tell, if like I was doing this blind, I'd guess at least 11%, just because it feels like a big barrel-aged behemoth of a beer, and it is. I want to stop drinking this because I'm drinking it too quick on camera. I'm going to go and relax, drink this over the next hour or so. It's delicious. This is delicious. It's what Põhjala does. I'm glad I picked it up. It's not as good as that Chateau Noir, but it's really fucking good. So I'm not going to pronounce the name again, or am I going to try it? I'm going to try and I'm going to say XO, part of their Cellar Series from Põhjala. I have absolutely no issues whatsoever in giving this beer a high 4.5 out of 5. I'm going to go 4.6 out of 5. This is awesome. I need to grab more Põhjala. I wish we got more than just like their barrel-aged beers. I think we may have gotten something else from them. Maybe like, I don't know if it was like a mixed fermentation beer or something like that. But if I see other stuff from them, I'm going to grab it. I need to drink more, obviously, imported beers. I'm trying to drink one a week, and I'm pretty much have succeeded to this point. So I'm going to grab some other stuff. Actually, tomorrow I'm going to go to the store and grab some other stuff. And if I see more from Põhjala, I'll grab another beer. Maybe I'll grab some German beers or English beers or Belgian beers, or maybe, you know, just randomly pick some other kind of imported beer and just go ham on it. But this, oh, you know what, does have a... So it was so dark I couldn't tell. So this does have, I will, you know, edit it in the, but this has a best by date. So yeah, this was bottle date of, based on how they do it, I think this was bottled on June 22nd of 2021, which makes this beer almost, it is like 20 months old right now. But it has a best by date of June 22nd of 2024. So we are about, what, 16 months away from that date, so I will correct that in the description box. But yeah, I don't know if you can see it, but it finally shows up here, and you can't see it because it's filled almost to the top, and it's black font on a black beer. It's not going to work out. So yeah, anyway, price point, availability. Here's the beauty about this one. I paid $7.99 for that bottle, which for an imported beer from Estonia, 11.2 fluid ounces of 11.5% Cognac barrel aged Imperial Baltic Porter, like all day, every day, especially since I give it 4.6 out of 5. So no issues with that price point. I don't know if it's like, I don't think it was on sale or anything. So I don't know. I think that's a great price point. And then in terms of availability, I have no idea. With Põhjala, I do know a lot of folks here in the U.S. can get their stuff locally. Who are they distributed by? Lime Ventures in Concord, California. So I'd imagine, and it shows on here like 8 different states, 9 different states. So if you can get Põhjala, you probably can get your hands on this one. And yeah, so if you have any suggestions for a beer from Põhjala to grab and review, let me know. I'm up for it as long as I can get it. And yeah, if you've had this one specifically before, post in the comment section. Let me know what you think about it. Delicious beer. I'm going to go drink the rest of it and enjoy every second. So appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers.